That's a hot new project. I'm saying it's going to be the 12th sector of the economy in 5 years.
Mark Cuban did this AMA, and someone asked, what are your favorite crypto projects outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum?
The final hurdle is removed. This final hurdle was basically the biggest one to begin with.
So today we're going to look at what two multi-billionaire successful investors in early stage technology see for the future and how to take advantage of one of the biggest mega trends on the planet. The two billionaires are Kevin O'Leary and Mark Cuban. Again, we want to take advice from people that have massive success in the field we are in. Both of these guys made their fortunes by being tech investors and tech entrepreneurs and taking advantage of massive mega trends. So let's dive into what both of these multi-billionaires see for the future and exactly how we can take advantage of it. First up, Kevin O'Leary believes crypto will be the 12th sector of the economy in the next few years. Imagine being able to buy those assets that are about to be part of the 12th sector of the economy in the next few years. That's what we're talking about. So what asset is Kevin O'Leary extremely bullish on?
I'm a believer in the payment system side. I think the hottest ticket right now is Sui. That's a hot new project. The guys that came out of Facebook. This is a guy that came out of Facebook that is, all he's focused on is speed.
Okay.
So he's going to own gaming and he's going to own transfer. So, gaming latency is your killer. If you want to start passing tokens around in the middle of gameplay, you got to be fast. Ethereum's too slow. Sui can do it. So this guy has sped the whole thing up. And then, of course, payment systems. You want to do 1 million transactions a minute, you got to use this. That's a bet I'm making, products like that.
So you're betting on crypto still being here in 100 years?
I'm betting beyond that. I'm saying it's going to be the 12th sector of the economy in 5 years.
So he's incredibly bullish on Sui. That seems to be his asset of choice because it's incredibly fast. What about Mark Cuban? Well, Mark Cuban did this AMA, and he said, let's do an AMA, fire away. And someone asked, what are your favorite crypto projects outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum? And Mark Cuban wrote, Polygon and injective. I'm an investor in both. So these two billionaires are bullish altcoins. One is bullish Sui. The other is bullish Polygon and injective. Kevin O'Leary is bullish Sui because he says it's super fast because it can process lots and lots of transactions. Let's compare Polygon and injective to some of the other top assets. This is the transaction count of all crypto assets over the last 180 days. This is Polygon, this is injective, this is Solana, and this is the internet computer. Polygon over the last 180 days, 585 million transactions. Injective over the last 180 days, 745 million transactions, beating Polygon. Solana dominating the rest. 64 billion transactions over the last 180 days. And then the internet computer is crushing the field in terms of total transactions at 74 billion. So the internet computer is crushing the two layer ones that Mark Cuban is bullish on. Sui isn't on token terminal, which is where we could track its on-chain fundamentals. But we know Sui probably isn't beating Solana. And we know ICP is beating Solana and the rest. So Kevin O'Leary is bullish Sui because he says it's super fast. It can process a lot of transactions. Obviously, ICP is also incredibly fast and also can process a lot of transactions. Now, why is ICP pushing through so many transactions when its daily active users aren't as large as the other massive blockchains? Because ICP is a world computer. So it's not just a layer one blockchain, which is attached to Google Cloud. It is a layer one blockchain, which is part of a world global distributed supercomputer that isn't Google Cloud. It is also ICP. So there's way more transactions going on in this world computer. So that just speaks to the power of the network, the speed of the network. Kevin O'Leary is super bullish on Sui because of speed. Obviously, ICP is incredibly fast. This comes from tokenterminal.com. It's a very reliable site, and it's an objective site. So not only is ICP dominating in terms of transactions, but look at the internet computer's revenue, right? How much money is it generating? At the end of the day, these are decentralized businesses that sell block space. They're all trying to earn revenue. Internet Computer's revenue reached an all-time high in Q1 2025. Look at where it was back when its price was in the hundreds of dollars. The price of ICP hit hundreds of dollars per token back here in 2021. Look at where it is now. It's done a 60x year over year. These are incredibly bullish fundamentals. So when Kevin O'Leary says crypto will be the 12th new sector of the economy, we want assets with massively bullish fundamentals. So let's dive into the fundamentals of some of these other assets. On this channel, we're super bullish, obviously. TAO. TAO is decentralized intelligence. We cover it all the time on this channel. We're now up to 88 plus total subnets. Subnets are miners. Like Bitcoin has a whole bunch of miners competing for Bitcoin. Well, these miners are competing for TAO. These miners are solving real world problems and creating breakthrough technology. That's how they earn TAO. The free market of TAO token holders decide where the TAO emissions go. And the free market is going to decide which of these subnets is producing the most valuable technology. Those subnets are going to be funded. That's how decentralized intelligence can be exponential and the best technology on the planet can be funded. Look at the percentage of TAO that is slowly but surely moving into these subnets. We're now at 4.6% and climbing. So more and more capital is moving into these subnets. We covered last week how the total market cap of these subnets is over $200 million. It just eclipsed $250 million. So capital is moving into these subnets. Capital is moving into the TAO ecosystem. Now, what is some of the technology these subnets are creating? Well, let's compare the performance of AI models versus cost. So to the left of this chart, we see cost. When cost moves in this direction, cost is going down, which means it gets cheaper. So these AI models, Hugging Face, Together AI, Amazon Web Services, SageMaker, these are all lower cost projects. Gradient over here, a lower cost project. Over here, we see improvement over baseline, meaning how quickly are they improving? Google Vertex AI is improving significantly, but Gradient is also in the top tier, beating the rest. So Gradient is improving faster and is practically cheaper than all these other assets. So Gradient is beating other AI language models in performance versus cost. What is Gradient? The blockchain behind the breakthrough is BitTensor. How BitTensor powers gradients. Behind Gradient's performance lies BitTensor, a decentralized machine learning network that is changing how AI models are trained and deployed. This is a very capitalistic system. The free market is rewarding the smartest people on the planet to create the best technology, very liquid, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of TAO are being paid to the smartest people on the planet to create the best technology. That is what is going on with BitTensor. We're competing with big tech. This is decentralized exponential intelligence, absolutely massive. We covered ICP, we covered TAO. What about Chainlink? Again, to me, it's one of the big three undiscovered altcoins that's going to probably provide life-changing returns. Obviously not financial advice. But let's hear what the head of Chainlink, Sergey Nazarov, just said.
It is actually happening. For example, Aave has this great new Horizon product. That's an institutional grade version of Aave that is going to allow you to do all kinds of exciting things with RWAs, with an institutional level of backing and reliability that you couldn't get without having those RWAs backed and custodied by those institutions. This is something that has been tried before, has been worked on before, has been talked about in our industry, but now with the new regulatory environment, making the institutions comfortable enough to actually act on working with DeFi, the final hurdle is removed. This final hurdle was basically the biggest one to begin with. And what you'll basically see is institutional products like money markets and various other RWAs that are represented on chain and have lending markets around them on chain and are basically using DeFi as distribution. And Aave, I think, will be, as it is now for lending, the main channel for that distribution.
So he's obviously incredibly bullish DeFi. He's incredibly bullish Aave. He's saying Aave is going to be the main channel for the distribution of institutional capital into DeFi. That is very, very good for Aave. Sergey Nazarov, as we cover on this channel, is extremely well connected. Chainlink has massive partnerships with institutions at the highest level. And so we cover that all the time. But in this week's video, we're just highlighting Chainlink's connection with Aave. When we look at the top lending platforms, look at the total fees generated over the last 180 days. Aave is number one, and it dominating the rest of the field. So how is Chainlink connected to Aave? First off, Trump's World Liberty Financial Company buys millions of dollars in ETH, Link, and Aave. So he's right. Aave is going to be massive. Obviously, Link is going to be massive. We have Trump's company buying it. But Aave integrates Chainlink SVR on the Ethereum mainnet. Aave has officially integrated Chainlink SVR. As the largest DeFi lending protocol, Aave is establishing a new standard in crypto economics with SVR. So this is just another example of the massive adoption of Chainlink. This is one of many massive partnerships for Chainlink. So the key to making life-changing returns in crypto is to find assets that are deeply undiscovered, super cheap. The charts look absolutely terrible, but beneath the surface is exponential adoption. That's what we're seeing with ICP. That's what we're seeing with TAO. And that's what we're seeing with Chainlink. And this all ties into the vision that Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary have for the future, which involves a booming crypto economy. So these assets are going to take advantage of this mega trend.